Mueller's latest move in the Manafort case reveals his strongest Dem bias yet. Tucker Carlson reveals the nuts and this is by US4Trump.com. Tucker Carlson reveals the nuts and bolts of the Mueller immunity scandal late last night. Furthermore, it is a doozy that will rock your idea of what bias truly looks like in the highest levels of our government. In fact, the bias is so obvious it makes you wonder, why are they not trying to hide it anymore? Are they running scared and getting sloppy, or is there more than meets the eye? Tucker reveals the Mueller immunity scandal bombshell in an unprecedented move. The Mueller team has offered immunity to Tony Podesta. Exclusive by Tucker Carlson of Fox News. Tony Podesta is the brother of the campaign chair for the Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential run. Tony Podesta is also a major fundraiser for the Clintons, and additionally, Tony is founder of the Podesta Group, who is a major Democratic firm in Washington, D.C., and is now defunct. Months ago, Tucker broke the story of Tony Podesta's lobbying for Ukraine. The Fox News host then says the Podesta Group was reported and worked with Paul Manafort to work with the Ukrainian interests in the United States without properly registering at the time under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is called FARA, Tucker explains. Tucker then announces Manafort got in big trouble for that. He is now in solitary confinement and he's looking at a life sentence behind bars. Tucker wants to know what happened to Tony Podesta. He asks the question, well, whatever happened to him? Then he proceeds to drop the bombshell. He states, well, tonight we can report exclusively based on two separate sources we spoke to today that Tony Podesta has been offered immunity by Robert Mueller to testify against Paul Manafort. Tucker then discusses the bias. He says Tony Podesta and Paul Manafort have nearly identical crimes, yet Manafort faces jail and Podesta receives immunity. The Fox News host then tells that in the past, only 7 people have been charged by FARA, and 3 of them recently were all tied to President Trump. In ending, Tucker says, this choice ought to make you nervous. Patriot Mike tweets the following video. Breaking, Tucker Carlson announces that Robert Mueller offered Tony Podesta immunity to testify against Paul Manafort. Watch Tucker's bombshell release of the Mueller immunity scandal below. Tucker Carlson announces that Robert Mueller offered Tony Podesta immunity to testify against Paul Manafort.
Several months ago in this show, we broke the story of Tony Podesta's lobbying for Ukraine. Podesta, of course, is the founder of the now defunct Podesta Group, which for years was one of the biggest Democratic firms in Washington. He's also the brother of Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. He's also a close friend and a major fundraiser for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, the Podesta Group, we reported, worked with Paul Manafort to lobby on behalf of Ukrainian interests in the United States without properly registering at the time under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is called FARA. Manafort got in big trouble for that. He's now being held in solitary confinement. He's looking at a life sentence behind bars. And Tony Podesta? Whatever happened to him? Well, tonight we can report exclusively, based on 2 separate sources we spoke to today, that Tony Podesta has been offered immunity by Robert Mueller to testify against Paul Manafort. In other words, for a near identical crime, Bill and Hillary's friend could skate and emerge completely unscathed, while Paul Manafort may rot in jail. Only one of them made the mistake of chairing Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Maybe the most amazing is the pretext under which all of this is happening. The FARA law was passed back in 1938 in order to prevent the Nazi government from lobbying in the U.S. Over a 50-year period, from 1966 to 2015, a total of only 7 people were criminally charged under FARA. Many more could have been charged. Washington is brimming with unregistered foreign agents and has been for decades. And yet only 7 people were charged over 50 years. And yet in recent months, 3 people have been charged under FARA. What do they have in common? You guessed it, some connection to Donald Trump. Federal laws ought to be enforced. Unlike the left, we actually believe that. But they must be enforced equally, or they're not laws at all. They're political cudgels and tools of social control. They become illegitimate and scary. In this case, ought to make you nervous.
Yeah, it makes all of us nervous. But you notice they're allowed to walk away scot-free. You see, there's something wrong with what is taking place in this country. And how much can Donald Trump keep an eye on everything? I mean, there is just so much corruption. Where's Jeff Sessions on this? And this has nothing to do with Donald Trump. What Mueller is prosecuting Manafort for has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Do you see? So why are we paying for this? I mean, this is just absolutely incredible. It makes no sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.